Corey Atwood here, Bagogames.com, and here at the Boston Festival of Indie Games. I'm here speaking with
Damian Isla
from
Moonshot Games.
All right, Moonshot Games. You guys are local, right?
We are, yeah. We're in Brookline.
And how many people are in the studio now?
We're between like 4 and 6, depending on the day. Basically, like we have a couple of halftime people and people coming and going on the project, but it's been a core of about 3 people. And then, audio people and other artists and that kind of thing.
All right, well, speaking of the project, what are you guys showing off here today at the festival?
So we're showing a game called Third Eye Crime, which is a stealth puzzle game. You play Rothko, who is a art thief. So you're stealing a bunch of art and you're getting to the exit, but the twist is that you're also telepathic. And what that means is that you actually get to see what the AI are thinking at every moment. Which basically gives you an advantage over them in terms of tricking them into doing the wrong thing or going the wrong place, so that you can get the art and get out of the level unscathed.
Now, what first attracted me to this game, I remember seeing this game quite a while back. How long have you guys been in development for?
It's coming on a year and a half. So yeah, about a year and a half.
And I remember when I first saw it, what struck me was the visual art style. Tell me about the art style of the game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like a huge film noir fan, so like I always wanted to make a film noir game, themed game, and I was lucky enough that one of my old artist friends was available to be the art director, and he has an incredibly unique style. Everything you see on the screen actually started as a pencil sketch, which he then inked over by hand, and then he scanned it in and took it into Illustrator and did a bunch of stuff digitally. But you can still see like the strokes of the pen in a lot of the art, which I think gives it like a really unique kind of handcrafty style to it. So that's where we get the style from. It's just the fact that our director Mike Klavach has this like crazy process for creating art, which is very unique.
It is definitely very unique. Not only do you not see very many stealth games on a touchscreen platform, but you never see a noir game either. And the cutscenes are very, very comic booky, very panely, and I love the way you interact with them.
Yeah. The idea of the game from the beginning was to make something that was like was really designed for tablet in terms of designed for touch in terms of interface. And so, that led us to the line drawing interface for the game itself, and also to this I think pretty unique style of storytelling, in which you have essentially comic strips that are like sort of analog and continuous. So you can, rather than being broken up into discrete panels, it's just kind of like a flow of images and words, and you can kind of just swipe your way backwards and forwards through this, and all of the animation, kind of plays and then reverses as you're moving the timeline. So it's just it's a neat, I realize that it's a really neat way to just interact with the story. And you see some people just say, oh, I don't care about story, boom, 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 and then they go on to the next level. And other people like sit there and lovingly go through and read everything and do it very carefully. So
I never understood cutscene skippers. I could never do that. I have to watch every single cutscene, even if I know it's going to be 20 minutes. I have to watch it.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm like you. I mean, I love story, and I've always been involved in the story in some respect in all the games that I've worked on. So certainly when we started this game, like, even though maybe it doesn't make a ton of sense to make a puzzle game with a big story, we still wanted to do it, and I think it still adds a whole lot to the game and to the atmosphere.
A lot of stealth games, you will memorize patterns of your enemies, and you can wait for them to turn around. They always walk in a square. You can take them in an alley and knife them in the neck. I don't see any of that in this game. Tell me how this game is different than other stealth games.
Well, there's one really important way in which it's different, which is that most stealth games, when you're finally seen by the guards, either you're about to lose or you're about to win. But essentially you spend almost all of your time before getting seen, sneaking around. In our game, by contrast, getting seen is actually usually one of the first things you do. Like, you're always seen in every level, or almost every level. And a lot of the game is played in the space after you're seen, so in the evasion process. So you can call it stealth. I guess you could almost call it a chase game as well, although it's not like a linear chase. You're kind of like getting chased around a maze and you're sort of trying to take corners that they're not expecting, and you're trying to react to what they're about to do based on the telepathy power that you have and so on. But so the game is mostly played actually in that exciting period in which they know you're there and they know you're somewhere down this corridor or that corridor, and you're trying to like pick the one that they're not going to go into. And a lot of that, like the fact that the AI are able to do that is actually due to some of the AI that goes into that. It's actually a very strongly AI-based game. My background is in AI programmer, so when it came time to design this game, I was like, I want to make an AI-based game that is all about playing with the perceptions of the AI. And not just the perceptions, but sort of the model of where the AI think you might be going. And so our AI are able to, like, if they turn the corner and you're not where they expected you to be, they can still come up with lots of like good guesses as to where you might have gone from there, and they systematically check all the places. So you see they are really like quite relentless in tracking you down. So it's not like other stealth games where, you know, generally they walk over to the space where they saw you, they look one way, they play an animation left and right, and they're like, well, must have been nothing, and then they, you know, this is much more about outmaneuvering the AI once they know you're there.
There's no direct combat in the game, right? The enemies have weapons. Some of the enemies I've seen have guns, but there are, I don't know what you'd want to call gadgets, right?
Yeah, we call them gear. I mean, and yes, there are these little tools that you pick up and can use in the environment. So there's, you know, like a noise maker that you like drop in an area of the map, and then after a couple seconds it makes a bunch of noise and attracts guards there. We have a clone gear, which basically creates a second playable version of you that you can like lead the AI off in the wrong direction while you go another way. A disguise gear, which basically dresses you as a guard for a short period of time, so you can like pass through their vision cone unmolested. So it's a bunch of gear, and all of it is focused on sort of tweaking the AI's perception in some way. It's always about tricking the AI rather than doing direct damage with them.
I know you guys have been in development for a while. How close to the final build are you guys?
I would say we're pretty close. Like I think we're about 2 months away. I also said 2 months, 6 months ago. So I'm not making any. I'm not making promises, but we're actually much closer. Than we were when we were at PAX. We've actually finally hit the level count that I was really looking for. I really wanted to hit 100 levels, and we're now at 120 levels. So we have a whole lot of content for this game. So there's a good number of hours of play, and that makes me really happy because it makes it a meaty project that I think I'm happy to, you know, I'm happy that we got to that substantial a game.
What platforms are you guys looking to put it out on? I know these all look like iPads, and I played it on an iPad.
Yeah, that's right. It's going to be, the first release is going to be iPad only, but it's going to be, you know, iPhone and Android are going to find their way out there very, very soon afterwards. So.
And I know that I don't know how conducive it would be to the control scheme. The control scheme seems very touchscreen oriented, but the next-gen consoles, the Microsofts and Sony's, are supposedly going to be very much more indie-friendly. Any thought to a console release down the road, or no?
I'm thinking less about console and more about Steam. Everyone who publishes on Steam here, who develops for Steam here, absolutely loves it, and I would love it too. I mean, I think for a Steam release, we're going to focus much more on sort of actually opening up the game to the community so that people can actually get in and make their own levels, and also potentially, because it's an AI-based game, I would really love to make a system whereby people can play with AI behavior, like author their own behavior or recombine existing behavior, create new characters, and then like upload them to a server so that other people can like try them out and stuff. So, you know, if we were to get on Steam, I think it would be less about releasing this particular game and more about sort of releasing a sandbox with which the community can play and create other cool stuff with. So that would be my hope for Steam.
That would be awesome. There would be tons of content if you did that, especially with the AI. I really look forward to it. So I'll try to nail you down a little bit, but do we have any sort of launch window that we're hoping for, that you guys are aiming for right now?
I really think it's going to be November. I won't promise, but I think it's going to be November.
This November?
Yes, this November. Actually, maybe I shouldn't say. It's going to be a November.
All right.
This November, yeah.
All right, good. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.